Out of the ground and out of the past. During a recent archaeological dig in an ancient part of the world, researchers unearthed a sculpture that is remarkably detailed. It's one thing to find a dusty relic dating back centuries. It's another to find a winged statue dating back millennia, remarkably well preserved and missing only its head. First, the statue. It's believed to be 2,700 years old. Researchers say it's a character that was revered by the Assyrians, who flourished at around the 7th century BC. Experts say this particular sculpture was actually excavated in the early 1990s when its head was stolen, but the rest of the work was then reburied in a rock, hidden to protect it from further damage. The archaeology professor leading the dig says the statue's head was confiscated in the 1990s from smugglers. He thinks it's in the Iraq Museum. Bringing the rest of the statue to light, once again, could help join together more pieces of history. Hi, I'm Carl Azus for The World from A to Z. There was some breaking news out of the U.S. state of Maine this week. It concerned shootings in the city of Lewiston. We don't know yet why this happened. Police say a single suspect opened fire at 2 locations, a restaurant and a bowling alley, on Wednesday night. At least 18 people were killed and 13 others were injured. There's a murder warrant out for the arrest of the 40-year-old suspect. The U.S. Army says he's a member of the Army Reserve, and police documents indicate he'd been committed to a mental health facility over the summer. At the time we produced this show, the suspect was still on the loose.
Card is considered armed and dangerous. If people see him, they should not approach Card or make contact with him in any way.
The mayor of Auburn, Maine, which is right by Lewiston, says his community is in shock and that officials, police, counselors, and clergy are working to help those who are grieving.
Well, there's fear, there's panic. Of course, there's worry, understandable. I mean, this is an all-hands-on-deck situation.
Mayor Levesque added that law enforcement would catch the suspect. Next story takes us from Maine to the Middle East. Israel has used tanks to raid Hamas positions in Gaza, but a full-scale Israeli incursion there has been delayed up to this point. Gaza is a Palestinian-controlled territory that borders Israel and Egypt. It's run by Hamas, an Islamist militant group that several countries consider a terrorist group. And Hamas launched a terrorist attack against Israel on October 7th. More than 1,400 people were killed there, and more than 5,000 have been injured, according to Israeli authorities. In Israel's counterattack against Hamas, more than 6,500 people have been killed in Gaza, and more than 17,000 have been injured, according to Palestinian authorities. Weeks ago, Israel began mobilizing a large military force on its border with Gaza, but when we produced this show, Israel hadn't launched a full-scale invasion of the territory, and experts say there have been several reasons for the delay. For one thing, Hamas took more than 200 people hostage when it attacked. The delay gives Israel and the U.S. more time to try to get more hostages freed. Those two countries are allies, and they've also been preparing troops and equipment in case more militant or terrorist groups or their supporters in countries like Iran get more involved in the conflict. The delay has also allowed additional humanitarian aid to get to Palestinian civilians in Gaza, but as far as them leaving the territory goes, both Egypt and Jordan have refused to accept Palestinian refugees from the war.
Word of knowledge. In what country do individuals consume the most chocolate per year on average? United States, Switzerland, Brazil, Germany. When it comes to per capita or per person consumption, Switzerland leads the world in eating chocolate.
The Swiss eat 22 pounds of chocolate per person per year. That's almost an ounce every day. But when it comes to producing cacao, that's how you have to say it, cacao! Those are the beans used in making chocolate, and it's the West African nation of Côte d'Ivoire, also known as Ivory Coast, that leads the world in producing the beans.
Ivory Coast farmers produce 40% of total cacao used in chocolate production. That's because almost 3/4 of the land is arable, meaning suitable for crops, especially rows and rows of cacao trees. Worldwide, the chocolate industry is booming, generating around $100 billion a year, but only a sliver of that goes to farmers in the Ivory Coast. The country's government has worked recently to make sure that farmers get their share financially. But while Ivorians turn out tons of beans, to date, they haven't gotten in on the lucrative finished product. The dried cacao beans are sent out from Côte d'Ivoire to skilled chocolatiers. Chocolate products that they make are way too pricey for impoverished Ivorians. In the commercial capital of Abidjan, Vivian Kwame hopes to change that.
As I like to say, there can be no chocolate without cocoa.
Kwame learned in Italy how to take her homeland's cacao and turn it into the delicacy we all enjoy. She then opened Chocovi, which allows farmers to see and taste the fruits of their labors, quite literally. And as if Kwame's stated mission isn't patriotic enough, her branding leaves no doubt. Green, orange, and white, the colors of the Ivory Coast flag.
Even when I'm out and about, I've got the world in my pocket. You know you can find us at worldatozorg, but now we are on YouTube. That's right, I'm a YouTuber. You can find us at youtube.com/@theworldfromAtoZ. Don't forget the @. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I will see you on the tube.
On this date in world history.
October 27th, 1904, the first underground New York City subway line opened. It covered 9 miles, had 28 stations, and took about 25 minutes to ride the entire distance. More than 100,000 people paid to be among the first riders. The cost, a nickel. In 1997, the New York Stock Exchange closed as the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 554 points. It was the biggest single-day point drop it had seen to that time. Ongoing financial trouble in Asia had effects across the globe, and system-wide circuit breakers in the US automatically halted trading because of the drop. And in 2017, lawmakers in Catalonia, Spain declared independence for the region in a failed attempt to secede. A controversial vote on the matter had been held earlier that month, but the Spanish government considered it illegal. In response to the independence declaration, Spain took direct control of the region from Catalonia's parliament and forced its leader out. On TikTok recently, there was a teacher who shouted me out, or maybe shouted out at me. But either way, Miss Racebeck has been waiting on this moment for a while. It's great to see her and her students at West Ashley High School in Charleston, South Carolina. Also want to recognize Miss Ott's students today. They're online at Walks Detention Center. Thank you all for watching in Grand Rapids, Michigan. One more note, we've heard from several folks out there who are homeschooling and using the world from A to Z, and we want to say, we see you, we appreciate you, and we welcome you.
Whacked by a whale. Jason Breen loves to live life on the wild side, but this was a wipeout he didn't see coming. Wing foiling off the coasted Mona Vale, the 55-year-old's GoPro camera was on as a whale calf sprang from the surface.
I saw the head come out, then I saw the rest of the body come out, and then I saw the whole thing above me, and at about that stage, I've got to be honest, I thought I was in trouble.
Body rolling with the whale, Jason says he was trapped underwater for what felt like a lifetime.
The whole time under the water, you can just feel the mass of it pressing against your body and pushing you down.
He only resurfaced when his arm strap snapped.
Just got hit by a whale.
Paul Metalbeck just happened to be filming too.
I thought, this is not going to be good.
He put a call out on social media to find Jason, and it worked.
Jason called me and said I'm okay. He was very lucky and I was very happy.
Jason says this leash may have saved his life by breaking. It's designed to withstand all conditions, but just by chance it snapped at just the right moment.
Yeah, I'm just lucky.
Annie Puller, 7 News.
Talk about something that would have the rest of us blubbering. He might not have been listening to Moby, but he was sure feeling whale. Not many folks know what it's like to get whaled on like that. It's almost a fluke and not something he'd endorse. But if you're looking to breach protocol and Baleen into flipping your windsurfing up a median notch, go ahead and join that fin club, because he's got a whale of a tale to tell y'all. I'm Carl Azus, and Fridays are awesome. Thank you for spending part of yours watching the world from A to Z.